Family, it's your boy Lamont Faison with another episode of You versus Yourself podcast where the truth and you collide. Listen, this is a heavy topic today. And this topic is about suicide. Did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that 80% of all deaths in the U.S. are by men? 80%. I think that is 4 times more than women. Part of me want to say, is this about the pressure that men have on them to be providers? But that still wouldn't be a good excuse. Is this about something more dark? Men are not able to be heard. Is showing vulnerability a weakness in society? Does society look at us differently when it comes to strength? Do we have a fighting chance if we are experiencing depression to go talk to someone without being seen as a weak man? Those are questions to ask. What's ironic about this conversation is I was one of those guys who wanted to take his life. I think it was early 1990s. I want to say around 92, 93. I contemplated suicide. I put a gun to my head and pulled the trigger, and the gun jammed. I mentioned those things before about vulnerability. I felt that if I went to tell somebody or have a conversation with somebody that I was struggling, that I would be seen as weak. I would be seen as a person who was soft, if you will. I didn't believe society would let me off the hook by being vulnerable and going to get help and talk to someone, that I would be looked upon as an outcast. Now, whether that was cognitive distortions, erroneous thinking on my part, it's the way I felt at the time. In fact, I still believe society, in some instance, still see men as weak if we are having some mental issues or going through something that seems that we're not strong enough to endure. I'm here today to tell you men and women that you are strong enough to endure whatever situation you're going through and being able to assist in resolving that issue. You have the ability to do that. There are people out there today that you can talk to. In fact, you can call me at Anger Management 702-467-0167. I say that because if society shuts the door on you, then there needs to be someone there to say, I got you, or I know who to put you in contact with. We spend a lot of time in this world focused on things that are not necessarily in some of our controls. And if it's not in my control, I want to teach you not to focus on that particular thing, but only the thing that you can control. And that's yourself. I can govern myself. If I cannot control anything else around me, I can govern myself. The way I feel about things is about my perspective and how I see a thing. It's why it's equally important that you speak to someone. Speak to someone that you can trust. Call a hotline. Call somewhere where somebody can aid you in your time of need. I'm one of those guys who roots for the underdog. Because indeed, I was the underdog. I was in a dark place at one time. I got kicked out of the military early in my life. I was embarrassed. I was shamed. And on top of that, there was a first sergeant that told me when I got kicked out that I wasn't going to be shit. And it's interesting how he said, now, you know, Faison, you ain't going to be shit. And with me getting kicked out, I believed that. And everything else I had going on in my life and the pretending that I was doing in my own life, I created this cloud of chaos. And for me at that time, I felt that was overbearing. And many of us could feel that way. But I'm rooting for you today to say, give it one more shot. There's a purpose. There's a reason why you're breathing. There's someone else that's going to need to hear your story, going to need you to root them on at some point. Find the right person to talk to. We often hear it's okay not to be okay. I agree, but let me take it one step further. It is okay not to be okay, but it's not okay for you to stay that way. Because once depression sets in, feeling sorry for myself, yeah, I felt those feelings. And you in that dark place, it's just you and that voice on your shoulder. Take yourself out. Go ahead and do it. Nobody cares about you. Nobody loves you. Go ahead, do it. Do it. Do it. That's the voice I heard. It is such a confusing state of mind, especially when you have a whole lot of other things going on, when you believe that you cannot get through it. I put a 380 to my head. Pulled the trigger. The gun jammed. I looked toward the sky and said, it must be a reason why I'm still here. And I'm grateful that I didn't take myself out, because it was a creator looking down on me saying, I got you. It's important to understand that there's a creator saying, I got you. All of you that are struggling under the sound of my voice right now, I'm rooting for you. Give it another chance. Give it another opportunity. Let's get you some help. And again, it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way. And I will encourage my audience, when people come to you and you can tell there's a situation, even if you can't diagnose it, there's an issue with someone that you believe is having a breakdown. Listen to that person. Ask them if they're okay. You may even need to bring in the intervention. They may be mad at you for a moment because you called on somebody, or they had to go to the hospital for a 72-hour hold to get checked out. They may be mad. But I love you, and I'd rather for you to be here than be gone. And so I'll take you being mad at me. One of the reasons how I believe we end up in that state sometimes is that our perspective and how we see a thing. I see the glass as half empty. My perspective on life is always from a negative point of view. I don't have. I can't get. They doing this to me. I'm not good enough. Let's put a spin on that today. You are good enough. You are smart enough. And it is okay for you to ask for help. If 80% of us as men are taking ourselves out, then as a man who once had that mindset should be stepping up to the plate, say, hey, I'm here. You want to talk? Let's chat. Don't be mad if you call me and I say, I'm going to call this people to get you some help. Let's do it. Because my goal is to make sure you're still here in the morning. And I'm going to take it as my responsibility to make sure I inspire you, encourage you to be the best version of yourself and not to give up on yourself. Parents, you better be checking your children's bags, notes, journals. I know, well, you in my space. Yep. But I'm watching the behavior that's suspect. And I'd rather for you to be mad at dad and me save your life than me not to check when I see that behavior is radical, or you depressed and I'm seeing different signs. I'm okay with you being mad at me because my goal is to help save your life. Men asking for help and being vulnerable is not a weakness. It's a strength. I know sometimes we feel like the world is overbearing and it's all on our shoulders, and I don't have enough money for my kids. I got to live in a camper. We're on the street. I got to tell you, I watched this movie a long time ago called Pursuit of Happiness. Will Smith played the character of a man who was going through. And he was in tough times, going through tough times. Wife had left him, and he was raising a son. And despite him going through those tough times, and he cried, he did all of those things that they tell us not to do. He came up out of that thing. And ultimately became a millionaire. He didn't give up on himself. We didn't say it was easy. I'm not going to ever tell you it's easy. But I need you to have a little bit of belief in yourself, even when you're at your lowest point. The fact that I came from that and being shot, wanting to take my life, selling drugs at one time on the streets, the fact that I escaped all of those things, to be able to go into law enforcement, to be able to help some young people in a program called the Youth Offenders Program, YOP, for the Department of Corrections, an academy trainer. The fact that I've written 3 or 4 books, four books, and working on my 5th. The fact that I went to school and graduated with a 4.0 GPA. That was that guy who wanted to take his life. That was that guy who didn't believe he was smart enough. See, I believed that lie. But no longer do I believe that lie, and you should neither. I'm rooting for you. I believe that you will come out of what you're into right now. I just need you to have a little belief and call for help. Don't give up on yourself. And to my audience, if you know someone that's depressed or dealing with suicidal thoughts, get them help, do an intervention. See, when we take ourselves out, there's no coming back from that. I root for all of you today. Man, woman, child, I'm rooting for you. I am Lamont Faison with You Versus Yourself podcast. And remember what I always say, being calm is cool.